And away we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. The big show on the radio. It's Monday. It's the Rob Brown Show. Hello to you. How do you do? Great to be back with you one more time again. I am Rob Brown, the great one. Lonzo, sitting directly across the table from me here as we get ready to roll on a Monday. What do you say, Zoe? How we feeling, big fella?
I'm good, but you're aggressive with that microphone, man. You have grabbed that thing like you're going to throw it twice now. I'm glad there's some glass here.
I've reached the phase of my life, Zoe, where, I've always made the joke, I'm fat, old, and out of shape. And the fat and out of shape are quite obvious. But I realized this morning I've hit the also old part, Lonzo, because I woke up, felt fine, stood up out of bed, and you know how you do that first big stretch in the morning? You get the arms back. As soon as I did that, something just clicked about midway up the lower back. And now I'm on like 19 ibuprofen since I got going this AM. I've hit the old part where I hurt just because I hurt.
19 is a little more than what you said earlier. So now I am starting to get a little bit concerned, but there's that. The question is for everyone is, will I be able to tell if you say something you wouldn't normally be able to normally say? And I've worked with you. We're going on a year. It's not quite there, but
I'm a broadcast professional.
9 months is, so I'll let you know if you go somewhere you wouldn't normally go. I'll let you know.
True. If you've some of you that watch the stream have seen Lonzo panic slam the dump button on me one time.
Wasn't a panic slam. It was
panic slam.
It was tactical.
Tactical deploy dump button. We got a lot of stuff to get to today on the broadcast. Olympics are over. Talk about that. Summer League in the NBA is ongoing. It is officially NFL preseason, so we're going to get into that coming up in a little while. No more weeks without NFL football through the end of the year, so we're going to get into that coming up in just a little while. It is going to be a wild, chaotic, and entertaining show, up to including, by the way, we got some quotes from some of the Hall of Fame speeches. There were some moments in the NFL Hall of Fame this weekend, including Peyton Manning mentioning Tom Brady, not bringing him up on stage. He said, "My friend Tom Brady," and the crowd turned into 20,000 Lonzos because they just boo. Brady getting booed by the entire city of Canton, Ohio. Is everybody in Ohio hate Tom Brady, Lonzo? Is that just a fact of life?
I'm just curious. Do you know where Tom Brady played his college football?
I've heard the University of Michigan. Could be incorrect about that.
And then you asked that question. Yes. So
yes,
the answer would be yes.
Fair enough.
If I would have been there, I would have been the loudest booer.
You know what? Let's just start the show. It's Monday. Let's just start the show.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
You guys are here.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here? Lunch!
It is the lunch breakdown. 3 things you have to know before we go start talking sports with our friends, family, coworkers, or the dog, whoever you spend your lunch break with. This will be the scuttlebutt around the lunch table, the things you will need to know now at lunchtime. Are you an early luncher or a late luncher, Zoe? Like if we were in a regular job where we couldn't just come and go as we please throughout the day, are you one of those people that takes his lunch break at like 10 a.m. or are you like me and save it till like 3 in the afternoon?
I think you may have noticed that I am a person of routine.
Yep.
And so I do things basically at the same time every day. So whatever the allotted time for lunch would be, that would be my time.
So if the boss said, okay, Lonzo's lunch is noon to 1, you don't really care as long as it's just noon to 1 every day.
Right. Right.
Gotcha. I'm a late lunch guy. To the point that I've had jobs in the past that were 9-to-5ers where I wouldn't take a lunch so I could leave at 4 o'clock. Just be done at 4.
Well, I could also say, what's a lunch, Rob?
Nothing. What's a lunch with you? Oh, that's not how that joke
Yeah.
works.
Do we have, scheduled?
No, that's what I'm saying. We get to do whatever the hell we want. It's great.
we do. And
90% of the reason I'm in this job is because I can wear joggers to work and leave the building anytime I want to go get lunch.
I mean, in other jobs, my lunch was always at the same time every day. So I'm down with routine. I like routine because with routine, you have walls and then you can bounce all over said walls, but you know where your limits are. So I'm good with, and I eat at the same time every day, even though we don't have an allotted lunchtime. So if you guys want to know exactly what time it is, wait till you see me disappear off camera.
Bag of Doritos, protein bar, Dr. Pepper. That's Lonzo.
Diet Dr. Pepper.
Diet Dr. Pepper. Every day. I'm putting it down today about 1:55-ish. That's usually about the time.
It's somewhere in the 1 o'clock hour, depending on if there is a guest or not.
Item number 1 on the lunch breakdown. We talked about NIL laws. We've seen NIL deals coming through, but this one interesting. This one may be worth mentioning. It stands out from the rest. The Florida Panthers have signed a quarterback. Does that statement catch your attention for any reason, ladies and gentlemen? The Florida Panthers.
What are the Florida Panthers?
They're a hockey team.
Okay.
Correct. That's why it would catch your attention. They have signed Miami Hurricanes quarterback D'Eriq King. He is the first college player that we know of as of right now to sign a deal to endorse a professional sporting club. First one with the Panthers, first one that we know of at all. King will appear at Panthers games and events, plus engage with fans on social media and produce digital content. The deal also calls for King to work with the Panthers to develop a merchandise collection, co-branded art, and his own exclusive concession menu item to be available at all Panthers home games and events for the coming season. The Panthers.
Wait. So he gets his own hamburger or something?
He gets whatever he wants to put on the concession stand menu.
Okay.
Yes. Florida Panthers, of course, play out of Miami, Florida. So it makes sense that the starting quarterback and maybe the most hyped Hurricane in a number of years would get the call from Miami's hockey team to try to encourage some folks to come out. The Panthers tweeted out, making moves. D'Eriq King has signed as our first ever FLA athlete, becoming the first collegiate athlete to sign an NIL agreement with a pro sports team. Panthers chief strategy officer Sam Dorr said, quote, D'Eriq is a superstar both off and on the field, and we are excited to reach and engage South Florida sports fans in new ways through this collaborative partnership, end quote. King said at ACC Media Days last month, where we were, the whole NIL thing, I think it's really good for college football. My thing was work with good companies. You can't work with everybody. You want to work with companies that align with your core values. You don't want to go out there and work with that company. And then about 3 weeks later, he's on with the Florida Panthers. Said they took about 3 weeks between unveiling their program and signing D'Eriq King to it. The Panthers said they value diversity and want female athletes and those from Olympic sports to be part of their program as well. So it looks like they will start the trend, Zoe, of having collegiate athletes sign on to represent a professional team. There you go. It's a big one.
I don't know if I entirely get it, though. I mean, because it's a different sport. So the only way you can get them to talk about hockey is to sign a football player?
So Miami is, and this is, it's in Florida. And not only is it in Florida, but it's all the way down at the bottom of Florida. It's very, very hot there. You don't get a lot of hockey folks out of Floridians. But here's the thing. If you bring in football players, they will right? It's like if a car dealership brings in a football player, it's literally the same thing. They just want you to buy hockey tickets. And maybe you're not a big hockey fan, but if your favorite football player is like, hey, do me a favor, buy these tickets. And if you come to games, I'll be there and I'll sign autographs. Now you get people in the door. And as I've said, with hockey and any other, sport that's not a mainstay, if you can get people in the door to experience that sport, you got a better chance of getting them to actually stay around.
So which is better advertising dollars spent, the car dealership or the hockey team?
I don't.
Which has a better chance of paying a dividend? I mean, making you some money.
I don't know. I don't know that I would give either one a clear advantage. I mean, you sell, how many cars does De'Aaron King sell versus how much Panthers merch does he move? How many Panthers tickets does he move? By showing up to games, by having the De'Aaron King hot dog that does not come with chili, mustard, and onions on it.
Because it's a normal hot dog.
Because it's a hot dog.
Yeah.
That doesn't have chili on it because that's a chili dog. Point is, it's just an endorsement. It's just an advertisement. We'll circle back around to that. We'll have that conversation. Item number 2 on the lunch breakdown. The medals are handed out. The Olympics are over. The closing ceremony has been conducted, and the baton has been handed off to Paris, who will host the 2024 Olympics. The Tokyo 2020 Olympics are over, and the Americans made a last day push to overtake China and have the full medal count and the gold medal lead when it was all said and done. When it was all wrapped up, the United States would end with 113 medals, 39 of them gold, 41 of them silver, 33 of them bronze. China would end with 88 medals and 1 fewer gold, 38 gold, 32 silver, 18 bronze. The not Russians, I'm going to pop a finger air quoting this, the Russian Olympic Committee.
Hey, now you were just offensive.
71 medals, 20 of them gold, 28 silver, 23 bronze. Great Britain, 65 medals, 22 gold, 21 and 22. Japan ended up with 58 as the host nation, the most they have ever won in the Olympics. 58, they got 27, 14, and 17. Aussies, 46 medals, 17 gold, 7 silver, 22 bronze. I don't know, I turned British at the end. It's an easy thing to do.
It really is.
You just got to channel Crocodile Dundee or, the Crocodile Hunter.
Crikey.
There you go.
It's not a medal count. That's a medal count.
See, you do that, you're good.
Netherlands with 30, or excuse me, where to end up? Australia, 46, 17, 7, and 22. Italy, 40 at 10, 10, and 20. Germany, 37, 10, 11, and 16. The Netherlands, 36, 10, 12, and 14. France ends with 33, 10, 12, and 11. Canada, 24, 7, 6, and 11. Brasilia, 21, 7, 6, and 8. New Zealand, 20. Hungary, 20. South Korea, 20. Everybody else had less than that. So how did it go down? How did we end up there? If it was important to you, as it was to Lonzo, that the Americans end up on top of the medal count, not just overall, but with the golds as well, Lonzo, your thank you letter can be sent courtesy of the U.S. Women's Olympic delegation, because the women were the reason that we ended up there. 113 total medals that Team USA took home. 66 of them
won entirely by women, the most ever won by women competing for the United States at the Olympics. Comes during the 25th anniversary of the 96 Atlanta Olympics, a pivotal moment for female athletics, as well as almost 50 years after Title IX. Of the Americans' medal haul, 58.4% of it came courtesy of the women, surpassing the 55.8% one back in 2012 at London. And previously, the games, the highest percentage of female medal winners was 2012. With 55.8 this year, it was 58.4%. Men won 41 medals in Tokyo. 6 were won in mixed events, including the 4x400 meter relay and track and field and the team equestrian events. It is also the 4th consecutive Summer Olympics in which the women have led the U.S. medal count. Also the 3rd Summer Olympics in which women have outnumbered men on the team top to bottom. According to Yahoo Sports.com, the U.S. surged into the gold medal lead on the last day of the Olympics when Team USA won its 7th consecutive gold in women's basketball. Cyclist Jennifer Valente placed first in the Omnium. The volleyball team won its first ever Olympic title. The beach volleyball team won late in the tournament as well. The 3x3 basketball team won the inaugural event to keep USA basketball at gold status across the board. Of course, Katie Ledecky would also win 2 more golds, as well as another individual silver and a silver in a relay. And Allison Felix became the most decorated American track and field athlete of all time, snagging 11 throughout her career. You can send your thanks to the U.S. women for our lead on the podium this year.
By the way, I don't choose to segregate by gender. I look at us as a team, because when you go, this group did this and this group did that, then you're no longer a team. I believe in team. I believe in unity. If you're watching the stream, let me show you what team is. There you go. I put my hands together, fingers intertwined. That's what we are. So all I care about is gold, baby. And we did it right at the end. That's all that matters. We're number 1 again. And guess what, rest of the world? You're not.
So if you calculate, you ready? I'm going to bring Zoe right back down to earth. That's what I do here. I'm the pessimist on the team. If you were to calculate the medals won by each country in relation to its population, that is to say, medals per capita. All right. So your population divided by medals. The Netherlands had the best performance of the Olympics. They won 1 medal for every 475,969 people. Australia, 46 medals, 1 for every 561,000. Great Britain won a medal for every 1.04 million people. Italy won a medal for every 1.51. France came in 5th, winning 33 medals, 1 for every 1.98 million. The Russians, 71 medals, 1 for every 2.05 million people. Japan came in 7th, winning 1 for every 2.18 million people with their 58. Germany, 37 medals, 1 for every 2.26. Per capita, the United States came in 9th place, 113 medals, 1 for every 2.92 million people. And China checked in 10th, 88 medals, 1 for every 16.35 million people. That is your top 10 on the medal board adjusted by population.
Yeah, but we won more gold than anybody else. I have a DX term for you, the rest of the world, but I'm not going to say it.
Not going to, or we're not allowed to? No, I know what it is. The people on the stream probably know what it is. Anyway, let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, one thing that was pointed out by the Olympics after it was over, one thing that may impact how the future of the Olympics shapes up, and kind of a cool deal that Paris is considering doing in 3 years when they host the Olympics. We'll talk about that coming up next on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Lonzo, it's ESPN Upstate. Yeah, I watched some of the speeches this morning. I didn't get to watch them over the weekend. But Peyton's good. Peyton's always good. I don't know that. Yeah, I agree with what Steven said. I don't know that Peyton would be a great commissioner, to be honest. What is Jason Momoa pimping here? Oh, dude, those aluminum cups are actually kind of legit.
I don't like the taste of aluminum cups.
They don't really have them. That was my big concern. They don't really have them.
Because sometimes when you drink a can, sometimes it tastes like the can. I just picture the cup tasting like that the entire time.
They had those at the Mercedes Pro-Am. Sorry, BMW Pro-Am. Very different company. Sorry, BMW, don't fire me. They had those at the BMW Pro-Am, and they're really not bad.
Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Fisher is different? How? Don't you just ride the wave?
No, we actively manage client portfolios based on our forward-looking views of the market. In times like these, we understand that clients want proactive communication and guidance.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we get to know our clients so we can tailor our portfolios to their specific
So someone, producer Tim, actually suggested that I use a cane Saturday. And I am...
Are you dressing like the penguin?
No, see, you went a totally different direction. When I think cane,
Walker.
well, no,
Dumb and Dumber.
when I think cane, all right, so you're going to all these, but there's a more relevant cane going on right now. The most famous cane in pop culture at the moment. I don't remember his middle name, but it's Montavious, something that starts with a V, Porter.
Oh, MVP. No, I listen. I need you to know, as a wrestling fan, MVP does not have the most famous cane in pop culture.
Can you name another cane right now?
I literally just named three.
Yeah, no.
that
I
have
mean,
more famous canes.
yeah, but all those are old. I mean, those are ancient canes. When did Dumb and Dumber come out? That was like the 90s or something. And no, I've never seen Dumb and Dumber.
You've never seen Dumb and Dumber?
It just doesn't interest me.
Oh God, it's great.
Jim Carrey needs walls. If he's given no walls, he goes beyond funny and it's just weird.
So Olympics television ratings were down, and that's no enormous surprise because the ratings for every sports thing has been down since the pandemic, right? We know that. We've seen it. We've talked about it. We've had the conversations. Why are the NFL games down? Why are the NBA games down? Why is college football? Why is everything down? And we've all got we got a bunch of different reasons and guesses and hypotheticals. But
and more than likely, it's a combination of a ton of things and not just one thing.
Absolutely. There may be a driving factor, but that driving factor's got a car full of other reasons with it. Is some of it down because of the social media messaging? Yes. Is some of it down because of the lack of competition or the lack of the biggest names being involved? Yes. But let me ask you if this for the Olympics, I think I know the driving theory of the Olympics. Lonzo, it wouldn't be social media protest or messaging because the Olympics pretty much cut that out this year. Even knowing that some athletes would want to be able to protest, would want to be able to send a message, they didn't really have it. I think they had what? They had the one American track and field, the young lady that put the X up over her head on the podium. And outside of that, there really weren't that many. In fact, to the opposite, I was watching after the men's basketball team won the gold medal. And Lonzo, every one of them had American flags draped around their shoulders the second they got their gold medals. There was no protesting, right?
Because the freedoms of America are not the freedoms of the world. And when they say, hey, we're not going to tolerate this, I guess everyone said, okay, they mean it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows if that was a ring? Maybe it was a threat of punishment. Maybe it was just the fact that they felt it wasn't the right platform. Maybe they felt that, hey, if we go win a gold, when we come back, we're going to have all these celebrations. There's a good chance to use them where more actual Americans will see us.
In America.
Sure,
yes,
exactly. Who knows what the reason was? But the point is the protests weren't there. The point is there wasn't a lot in terms of non-athletic competition, yet Lonzo, the ratings were down 45% across the board.
I would be interested if there's been a study of past Olympics when time zone comes into play like this, because like right now it's already tomorrow in Japan or something.
Yeah,
so
they're like 13 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, and it really throws things off. So if you're waiting to watch the Olympics in prime time, it's already happened. And if you're on social media at all, chances are you probably already saw who won, and that takes a little bit something out of it, unless you're really, really a fan of said sport. So I think that to me is the biggest factor.
Yeah, I got to wonder if you get an ESPN alert on your phone, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, American men defeat France in gold medal game, bring home, blah, 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 blah. Are you less inclined to watch the replay of that game that night? Now, if you're like me, you were up at 10:35, 10:45 at night watching that game. But if you are not the kind of person who's got a 10:45 bedtime, well, actually like 12:35 a.m. bedtime in you to watch basketball, and you wake up the next night and you open the phone and you see, or the next morning and you see that Team USA basketball has won the gold, are you more or less inclined to watch it? Or are you more inclined to just watch the highlights of the game, watch the Sports Center breakdown, and be done with it? Jay Busby of yahoosports.com, who is a friend of mine and a friend of the show, we'll probably have him on hopefully in the next couple of days to talk about it, put up a really interesting article on yahoosports.com where he kind of broke it down. He said the TV audience for the Tokyo Games is down an average of about 45% from the comparable Rio Games in 2016. Prime time viewership, which consists of both live and delayed events, is down 51%, and individual days are even worse. Last Saturday's audience of 14.9 million ranked as the lowest ever recorded for a Summer Olympics on a Saturday, breaking the record, lowest Olympics for a Summer Olympics, lowest rating audience. I can do this for a Summer Olympics, breaking the record of the Wednesday before last Saturday. All right. Terrible news for NBC. Now, what does this mean? Where did it come from? First and foremost, the ratings aren't going anywhere, okay? The ratings the Olympics, the games aren't going anywhere. The games aren't going to go anywhere. They're still going to be there. They're still cranking 19 million eyeballs a day. There's still money in it. But Jay Busby says here is how the ratings will affect you. The ratings allow NBC to set advertising rates and in turn receive sponsor revenue to offset the billions that NBC pays to the IOC for the right to broadcast the games. That total is $7.75 billion the Olympics owes to the IOC from now through 2032. Lower ratings mean NBC must charge sponsors less, but since the IOC doesn't give discounts based on lower ratings, NBC has to make up that revenue shortfall. Where do you think that comes from? That's right, you and I. You ready for what the fear? And Jay made this a thing, and I think he might be right. Lonzo, don't be shocked if the next Olympics, if the big events are only on their streaming service. Don't be shocked if the way that they try to make up the revenue is to put it on a streaming service and charge you, let's say, $4.99 for the 2 weeks of the Olympics.
I think a lot of things are heading that way anyway. So that would not shock me, but I think that would be a mistake because people love the Olympics. People don't want to pay for the Olympics.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I would. Okay. I'd pay $5 to watch the Olympics for both weeks. I would. But I know I'm also in a minority. There's a lot of people that don't. Look, I care when it's on free TV. I don't care enough to go out of my way for it, right? Maybe like the big events, maybe like the basketball gold medal game, if the Americans are in it. Maybe the, I don't know, what else? What would you say are the Summer Olympics games, so that if you could order on an a la carte menu, what Summer Olympic games would you say you'd be willing to pay for?
Well, I think other than basketball, for me, it would be wrestling. But
Okay.
but there's not a whole lot else. And the other thing
Wrestling,
is,
which, by the way, you didn't go out of your way this year to watch.
because for some reason I was thinking it was a winter sport and not a summer sport. And that's because high school wrestling and college wrestling and regular wrestling,
Right.
it's in the winter. So, it just kind of threw me off there. And then there's also, I mean, they want to charge all that. This is a worldwide broadcast. So chances are, if you were someone inclined, you could probably find it for free on the internet. More than likely. There'd be a feed somewhere.
Oh, 100%. 100%. By the way, damn, Charles Woodson looked fly with the ascot.
I see it, man. Only certain people can pull off the ascot.
Charles Woodson can pull off the ascot. I can't. Charles Woodson can.
I've never tried. But
tried.
I think if you got a big neck,
If only we had some sort of event coming up in the near future that we could justify dressing up for. If only.
Now, I've already purchased some neckwear, but I could take it back and say, hey, man, I need an ascot.
Ascot. Yeah.
I need that.
Jay goes on to point out in this article that just about every form of TV entertainment across the board is down. Sports are down. Reality TV is down. Scripted TV is down. Post-election news, everything is down right now. And the Olympics still claim the largest piece of a smaller pie. NBC noted in a recent news release that this past Thursday's Olympic evening broadcast was the 132nd consecutive Olympics night to win primetime. So the Olympics are still more watched than anything else on television, even when recorded. With an average viewership this Olympics of 16.8 million viewers per night in primetime, the Olympics are on pace to join NBC's Sunday Night Football as the two most popular TV programs of this season. But that still does not make it good news. For instance, the Olympics beat NFL football by 6 million viewers on Thursday. So the first preseason game of the year, with the two arguably largest fan bases in the NFL playing the first preseason game of the year, and the Olympics had 6 million people more watching it like that. However, that's a pretty good number, right? I'd say so, Lonzo. I mean, 6 million more eyeballs facing the Olympics in prime time than the first NFL preseason game between the Cowboys and the Steelers. But back in 2012, the last time that the two went head to head, that the first preseason game of the year went up against Olympics in primetime, Lonzo, the Olympics won by over 29 million viewers at that point. All right. 29 million viewers.
And it comes back to, that NFL game was live.
Yep.
And it went head to head with something that wasn't. And you could have already watched it if you knew what you were doing.
Now, let's talk about some reasons real quick. Well, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about some reasons, and I'm going to tell you why. Because this conversation, while we're having it about the Olympics, I'm going to go ahead and call the shot. We're going to be having it about the NFL soon. Maybe throughout this season. So let's take a look at a couple of reasons, see which ones you think work and what don't. Back after this on The Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate. A case of water that I accidentally got orange and cream instead of my regular orange, and I'm not super thrilled about it.
Yeah, it's not as good. I
It's
mean,
not.
I'm okay with that once in a while, but
Yeah, I got 12 of them.
yeah. Well, you can space them out. They won't go bad. They won't taste any better either, but you know. And you went out and you came back with more orange cream.
I changed one out that was cold in the fridge
Ah,
for that one, which has been out of the fridge.
Ah.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
We got room for a hot tub in here.
Ah,
Do it.
dude. I could justify doing a show from a hot tub.
Spent some quality time in the hot tub myself last night.
Yeah?
Decided to watch the first episode of
Did you
Justice
watch-
League Unlimited.
Did you watch Suicide Squad?
Yeah, I watched it Friday and reviewed it on Saturday.
Oh, that's true.
We even listed all the people who lived and died.
I
Haven't seen it yet.
no, I did. I
Oh,
watched
okay.
it.
All right.
I did not see the character I thought was going to get a follow-up movie going out the way he did.
But you saw the post-credit scene, right?
Nope.
You did not.
Nope.
You did not.
Nope.
Should I tell you, or are you just gonna look it up, or what? But it does concern that character. Because I was thinking the same thing. It's like, okay, so he's getting a prequel. It's not a.
I mean, I saw the weasel get up.
Yeah, there was another post-credit scene. Again, I can tell you.
Oh, no.
Okay. Just if you really need to hear it.
Yeah, no. Well, you. What?
If you're gonna do that, you need to mute.
There's nothing that drives me crazier than the guy who explains the post-credit shot. I don't want you to explain it to me. I want you to just show me it. All right, how much time do we have left?
We've got a minute and a half, so you got time. Here.
I'll be right back, stream. I have to watch this. I
It's all right. It's all right.
saw the weasel one, and I'm like, that's it. That's what everybody's talking about.
Well, again, one advantage to watching it at home is you can go all the way to the end.
I didn't
And
watch it. So here's what happened. I was watching on HBO Max, and on my TV, for whatever reason, when I fast forward, it's like it's not responsive to the mode. So I'll click fast forward, and it'll just go.
You know
and
what,
then
you
I'm like,
should-
stop, and it won't.
do it on your gaming system.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do. We watch it, do it on Xbox. It's a lot easier because, for one thing, as a gamer, you're more comfortable with that controller, and you can get through there. And it's just a matter of pushing the stick to the right. So
Yes, Steven, that's what we were just talking about, because I knew good and damn well that if I didn't watch it and came in here today and said I didn't watch it, I'd have to put up with you for a week.
and he missed the post credit scene, which he just
Shut up,
watched.
Lonzo.
He just watched it.
Shut up, Lonzo. All right, so why? 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 Wiki. Where the Olympic audience is down 45%. 45%. There's a couple of guesses. The first is, and Jay hits this. Jay Busby, friend of the show, hits this in his article right very off the quick, right? And I think he's got a great point. The last time that the Olympics were on TV, Disney Plus did not exist. HBO Max did not exist. Paramount Plus did not exist. The ESPN app did not exist. Peacock didn't. All these different streaming options didn't exist. And the thing is, there is one massive advantage to having a streaming service over having cable now, right? Like, even if you have to get 15 different streaming services to cover all your bases, there's still one massive advantage, which is on-demand viewing, right? Like, I want to watch The Office. I don't have to hop on the cable and just hope that Comedy Central is showing The Office and just accept whatever episodes they give me. I can pop on to Peacock anytime I want, watch any episodes I want, anytime I want. If I am meh on the Olympics, right? Like, I'm okay with I like the Olympics. I mean, I'm a fan. I watch them all. But if I'm a meh fan of the Olympics and I go, yeah, I know that the track and field events are on tonight, but let's be real. Not a big track and field guy. However, I can turn on Disney Plus and watch Loki. I'm going to go ahead and do that. There are tens of millions of Americans that have Disney Plus. I would bet you, Zoe, that upwards of 90% of people in this building alone have Disney Plus. I bet you 90% of us have it just in this building.
Yeah, there's a couple people on the music side that are like,
yeah,
bro,
yeah,
what's Disney Plus?
Right? But dude, I get Star Wars, dude. And Goofy movie?
Forgot about Goofy movie. You're right. You're right.
Right? Peacock. If you're a fan of The Office or Parks and Rec, and that's your comfort viewing, it's there.
Or if you are into the WWE, you've got
Absolutely.
Peacock.
WWE Network is on there now.
Which is the only reason why I got Peacock.
Yeah. If you're a movie fan, between Paramount Plus and HBO Max, you are set for hours. All right. It's just not there. It's just not there. As Jay said, what's happening to live TV sports is exactly what's already happened to the music industry, print media, and network TV. With so many options available, consumers are able to create their own personal network rather than relying on traditional providers. Why wait 2 hours to watch a 100-meter race when you can knock it out 10 seconds immediately on Twitter? And that's exactly right. The 100-meter dash takes less time to run than Giannis Antetokounmpo takes to shoot a free throw. Right? I don't need a 45-minute. This has always been my frustration, for instance, with a Kentucky Derby. I don't need 3 hours of Kentucky Derby coverage for a race that takes 45 seconds. It's too much. It's too much. Now, if you're a huge fan of track and field, a huge fan of the 100-meter dash, you're willing to watch it. But most people, Lonzo, they want to see the race, see the winner, and be done with it, right? So, yeah, you can watch it on Twitter. People will screen cap and play it back on Twitter 3 seconds after the race is over.
There was a time, and this was many, many years ago, when a fan wanted the fluff that goes around it, around the race or the event, because they didn't have the ability to just pick up their phone and go, oh, who's this? And then find all the information they can find out about the person. We've now reached the point where people just want to see the sport itself.
Correct. Now, I've got the number one reason. The number one reason. Let me say that. The number two reason. The rise of streaming is the number one reason these Olympics were down in viewership. The number two reason, I'll tell you what that is when we come back, because it is something that forced the NFL to make a decision this year. Talk about that next. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. This is ESPN Upstate.
Where's my... You all right?
Yeah.
I had the same problem when you were out of the room doing mine. And
Yeah.
it is ain't nothing wrong with me other than me. So I'm a meteorologist.
Are you doing something with that, or are you just threatening the viewers with the least threatening threat of all time?
By the way, I disagree because one of my friends put a little piece of paper in an air rifle and pumped it a ton of times and shot it into my skin. I didn't think he was going to pull the trigger. I was wrong. And it hurt. Luckily, there was enough of the paper sticking out that I could take tweezers and get it out of my skin.
So you put it in like an air pistol?
Yeah. The kind that you can. I've also been shot with nails from like an air rifle.
Okay,
before.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not move to Ohio.
It's
Your
not.
children may not make it out.
I'm trying to do the exact same thing that you did with your camera for my camera because it used to do something and now I can't get it to do it. I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not as skilled as you. Stupid piece of paper. Work.
Ladies and gentlemen, the length of effort that Lonzo is putting in here so that you can have the best possible view of his face is impressive. Why don't you do what I did and hang it up here? So,
Because I don't. The view of my hair wouldn't be as good.
oh, gotcha.
It's silly. You should be dancing there. That's just not.
So, but then tilt the camera down.
Yeah, it's not that. I can't get it to go this way. It's more about the banners. See, now it's fine. It's more about the banners than anything.
Gotcha.
I was trying to censor the banners, and you're right. I could put it up there, but then it would be in the way of the TV, and
priorities.
and no, Diesel would remove it every single day, and I'd have to put it back up. So.
All right, the Rob Brown Show, wrapping up hour number 1. So what's the number one reason that I think the Olympics were down? And it's something that forced the NFL to make a decision. Texter says, ESPN, I think the time zone issue and NBC just didn't make it easy to watch at all. Time zone doesn't help. It doesn't. But it's not just a time zone issue, because the time zone issue is nothing new, right? Like they were ahead of us in London. They're going to be ahead of us in France. It's not just the time zone. It's that the results are so easy to get, right? But that's also, I still don't think that's the reason. Another texter says, ESPN, lack of patriotism. What? If you think there was a lack of patriotism displayed by the athletes, you weren't watching.
Maybe they're talking about the viewer, lack of patriotism, because the viewer no longer loves their country, so they don't want to watch something representing their country. We're reading a lot into a text that's kind of vague.
Yeah, if you want to be more specific, I'm here. But I cannot think of a situation where I would think you're right. All right? Respectfully. If you want to text with more details, I'm down for it, but I don't think you're right. You know what I think the biggest thing was, Lonzo? Without the crowds, it just wasn't very exciting. Right?
Yeah, because we've seen viewership go up in other sports when the crowds returned. Yeah. Including ratings in wrestling went up as soon as the wrestling crowds came back.
Yep. NFL football is going to have crowds, and it is as much because of the fact that the ratings will come back when it feels like a football game moving forward than it is, we feel like we're genuinely safe. It's just $1 billion investment. When there aren't crowds in attendance, then the excitement level is just not there. And I think, well, then Rob, why were the NBA? The NBA was not out of the bubble completely this year, right? It was not completely out of the bubble this year. So they had some decisions they had to make, and they were down too. Baseball's just now fully getting out of the bubble. The last handful of weeks, months, I guess. Ratings are down for that. When we don't have the crowd, it's just not there. All right, let's talk some football when we come back on the Rob Brown Show. Carolina, Clemson, both in camp as of last Friday. So what have we seen so far? Plus, the Panthers might have an issue. One of their weakest units is now dealing with injury. All that more coming up in hour number 2 next on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Houston Connects in first break.
Okay. Uh-oh, Keegan getting sent up to the big leagues, getting that travel out of town for business jobs. Attaboy.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show gets going right now. This is ESPN Upstate. Rob, the great one, Lonzo, and you. Phone lines are open right now at 844-GSP. ESPN 844-477-3776. Text us at 71307. The Ingles Market text line is open for you at 71307. Send that text. We'll get it read for you on the air. Let's see. We got a bunch of NFL news coming out today. And by the way, Lonzo, it is big time NFL preseason, man. We got Thursday games this week. We got 2 of them on Thursday. We got 3 of them on Friday. We got a slate full of Saturday, a slate full of, and then we start up next week. Let's see, we got Thursday, the Washington football team taking on New England. By the way, did you see, I saw this over the weekend, the Washington football team, it looks like, has either approved or is working on a policy where if you wear gear into the stadium that is a hearkening back to the paraphernalia of the old moniker of the football team, that you may not be allowed into the stadium, including Native American inspired ceremonial headdresses or face paint at home games. They won't let you into the stadium if you are wearing that. The Athletic reported last, I don't know, what's today? I don't know, Saturday, Friday, whatever. The Washington football team will no longer allow fans to wear Native American-inspired ceremonial headdresses or face paint at home games. The team announced on Wednesday the new mandate was included in a short list of new policies and protocols for the upcoming season. Fans will be allowed back at FedEx Field for the first time since the Washington football team changed its name. Other policies include blah, blah, blah. It's got some vaccination policies and all that. But the Athletic saying that Native American-inspired dress and war paint will not be allowed in the stadium. And I'm sure that's going to go over just swimmingly with their fans.
Yeah, there's not going to be a problem at all. They're not going to have anybody show up wearing any of that stuff. They're not going to have anybody showing up having that stuff in their pocket and then them putting it on in the restroom. They're not going to have that problem.
Nah, everything's going to go just fine. Just fine.
You think eye black is derived from war paint?
No.
I understand the purpose of eye black. I do. I get it. It's to block out the glare of the sun. And
I mean,
yeah,
I think there are guys who use the eye black as war paint.
So the reason why I'm asking that, you just go the straight line and go
single stripes, nothing to it.
So yeah, but the person who's the czar or whatever, letting people in. So how many stripes is no longer? So 1 stripe's okay, but 2 stripes, it's war paint. I'm just, this is a slippery slope. This is going to be really hard for them to enforce. And maybe they should have just moved the team somewhere else. It might have been easier that way.
I have not heard anybody say that before, actually. That maybe it would have just been easier to move the team somewhere else.
Move it somewhere else. Start over with a new name. Don't have to worry about the tradition. You know what? Even change your colors, because then you don't have to worry about people showing up with the old stuff. I mean, if you're so worried about that, move the team, change the colors, change the name, boom, no longer a problem.
I will be intrigued greatly to hear the response from Washington football. I don't have a problem with this, to be honest with you.
So are they okay with people with dudes wearing dresses and pig snouts? Just curious. Because it's another tradition, and maybe, you're getting rid of one. Should you get rid of that also?
Yeah, but I mean, I'll tell you what, if you find me some pigs that are upset and offended for being portrayed negatively and in stereotype, then
And someone from PETA who would absolutely say the pigs are
PETA lost
offended.
their right to be taken seriously years ago. Texter says, hey, how about a policy that you can't sexually harass your employees? Yeah, they should put that in place too. Yes. Texter says, so how long are the entrance lines going to be at Washington football team games while they police all of this? I mean,
Are they having seminars with their employees to say, okay, and do you got the overhead projector going and you've got, okay, this war paint is acceptable. This is eye black. This is acceptable. This is not. If this person has this on their face, you must turn them away or offer them something to wipe it off their face.
I'm pretty sure that a reasonable individual can look at a person and determine whether or not they're wearing eye black or mock war paint.
If you're 16 years old, you're working the stadium. It's a thankless job. We've all been in those kind of jobs. Do you really care that much? And are you confused and you have to go get your manager? Hey man, I'm not quite sure. It's just because it's on one side of his face, and the meeting, it was on both sides. So is one side okay? I don't know.
I think
And her makeup looks kind of like war paint, but she may just be like a Tammy Faye Baker disciple. I don't know. I need help.
I think that we are taking a lot of steps to try to stop a policy that really isn't that bad. Texter says, what if I went bow hunting and then went to the game? Do I have to wash my face? That offends me as a bow hunter. Are you telling me you're going to go bow hunting and not shower before you go in public? Because I used to bow hunt, and I know what you're going to smell like, and I don't want to sit next to you at the football game.
I've got to say, 90-something degree heat, several beers in and spilling nachos and type things, you're probably going to smell about the same as you would coming there from bow hunting.
I think we're taking a lot of extra steps here.
Especially if you ascribe to the Jake Gyllenhaal way of bathing,
Oh,
so,
God.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. 844-477-3776. A couple of other stories that have been coming out. Lamar Jackson, after just coming back from COVID for the second time, remains non-committal about whether or not he'll be vaccinated after being infected with COVID-19 twice in the past 8 months. Said it is a, quote, personal decision. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but
if it's not mandatory, then it is a personal decision.
No, it is a personal decision. And also, he's got it twice in the last 8 months, including once that took him out of 2 weeks of training camp, which would have been really valuable for, the starting quarterback of the team to be working with his new offense. He had it twice in 8 months, and he had to get off the field. You're right, person who is already screaming at the radio, but Rob, you can still get COVID if you're vaccinated. Correct. At an exponentially lower rate than the people who are unvaccinated.
So far.
Correct. But so far, we have the evidence that if you have the vaccination, you're about 97% less likely to get it if exposed.
Are the Baltimore Ravens his teammates calling him out on it?
They should be. I would be.
Yeah, but you're not his teammate. So if they're not calling him out on it, it's personal choice.
I mean, it is a personal choice. And as we've talked about, you know what I'm waiting for? in 3 months when Lamar Jackson gets COVID again and the Ravens are in the heat of a playoff race in that division and he's got to sit for 2 weeks and they got to bring in Baltimore Ravens backup QB Trace McSorley, ladies and gentlemen, the great Trace McSorley, or if he's not your cup of tea, Tyler Huntley, who played for the University of Anybody? Where'd Trace Huntley play college ball, yo?
Somewhere in the Pac-12.
It maybe. I don't know. But that's my point, right? Tyler Huntley, QB, Wikipedia. Tyler Huntley played college football for the Utah Utes. Nailed it, Lonzo. Well done. The Utes. Joe Pesci's favorite team, the Utes. Look, it is a personal decision, first and foremost. And when you say it's a personal decision, you're just making the announcement that you're not vaccinated. All right, let's just call that what it is. If you're telling me it's a personal decision, it means you're not vaccinated. I agree with you, it is. But that's what you're saying in this context. It's going to happen. I'm just calling the shot. I'm not even like, this isn't even I'm kind of done pleading for people to get the vaccine because if you haven't gotten it by now, there's nothing that I'm going to say that's going to change your mind, right? There's no amount of science I can put on the table that's going to make you go, you're right, it's a personal decision. And now I'm going to go ahead and make it. Now I'm going to go ahead and move it. Now I'm going to go ahead and make that call to get it. It's not going to happen. And that's on you, Lamar Jackson and Cole Beasley and whatever other players are in this camp. But Lamar Jackson in 8 months has gotten it twice now. It knocked him out of a couple of weeks of training camp where it would have been, I'm assuming, very, very helpful for the starting quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens to actually be on the field, practicing with his new team and new players and guys that are going to rely on him and he's going to rely on.
It's okay because they're going to do really well in the regular season. They're going to get to the playoffs and he's going to Lamar it. And it doesn't matter how much training he has.
He's going to Lamar it. I mean, he might Lamar it. You might not be wrong. But, I forgot to say go Chiefs. Sorry about that. Asked about his reaction when he found out he had tested positive a second time, Jackson mouthed some words angrily and waved his arm in disgust. He said his response was, "What the bleep? Again? It was crazy. I was heartbroken. I wasn't looking forward to all that right before camp. Right now, not again, not right now." Gosh, Lamar, if only there was something you could have done to lower the chances this happened. Only there was something.
And I'm just trying to be kind of funny on this, but I'm curious. If you wanted to get out of camp, is there a way to fake a positive so you could get out of camp for a while? I mean, they get out of drug testing. They get out of other things.
I don't know. I'll tell you right now, if I found out my starting quarterback was faking ways to get out of camp, I'd have bigger problems.
My mind goes weird places. What can I say?
Look, it's really simple. Like, why? I just love that he's shocked. Oh my gosh, I'm not vaccinated, but I got COVID. Stunning. I know. It is. See, the problem is, had you gotten it, the vaccine, not the COVID, lowered the transmission rate, because how many days was he at practice with the rest of his team before it caught on?
See, the more stunning thing would be, yeah, but everyone told me I should get the vaccine and I just caught it again. That would be more stunning.
Again, we know you can still get it with the vaccine.
Right. So I mean, either way, Lamar would, either way, he still got it twice. And who's to say that other people won't?
Either way, he got, no, that's not necessarily true. He is significantly less likely to get it twice if he just got the shot.
But it could be true. So it's not 100% foolproof. So he's not going to be the only one. This is going to be like it's going to be akin to getting an injury. I know you don't want to think of it that way, but that's what it's going to be.
But a preventable injury, or at least an injury that you could go a long way in diminishing the chances of getting.
Another preventable injury. Don't ride a motorcycle or a jet ski or use a sushi knife.
Correct. But do
incorrectly.
But do you know what I do when I ride my motorcycle? I put on a helmet and gear and protection so that if something bad happens, I don't end up with my brain spilt out along Highway 385, right? Yes, I know there are risks in everything I do, but I mitigate those. When I ride in my car, I put on my seatbelt and I do the speed limit and I stop at stop signs so that I don't park my car through a house.
You're right. But you also have the choice to do all those things or the choice to not do those things.
Right. And I also know that, if I'm going to ride my motorcycle, it is my choice. In South Carolina, it's my choice to wear a helmet or not. North Carolina, you're mandated by law to ride one. I'm sure that all the protests in North Carolina from people protesting about how their freedoms to not wear a motorcycle helmet will start up very soon. Right. We do things to mitigate risk. It's not to say you don't take risk. You stop taking risk. Taking risk is part of the fun of being a human being. But as we've pointed out, Lamar is at a spot where he has a lot of other people whose well-being relies on him being available. And right now, he has shown now twice that he might not be.
So he caught it a second time, but nobody else caught it around him?
We don't know yet. Because remember, Lamar being unvaccinated means he has to test very frequently through the NFL's protocols so that hopefully they caught him before he was able to give it to anybody else in the program. I haven't heard of any more positive tests, but I know that there have been positive tests that are not being reported on directly because nobody cares if the backup left tackle gets COVID and is out a week before training camp starts. Now, when the regular season gets here, and we have guys
I would say the
time,
backup left tackle is pretty important. Now, maybe.
Yeah, well, as a former backup left tackle, I would agree with you.
Yeah, especially in this day and age.
Texter says, I'm just glad you aren't painting yourself as a champion of the people for getting vaccinated. Not mentioning names, but it rhymes with Bark Tryan.
Man, who would?
Bark Tryan.
Bark Tryan. He will forever be known as that now.
Don't hate it. Look. I'll say this and then we'll end because I really didn't intend for this to be a discussion today.
Don't shoot the messenger.
I didn't intend for this to be a discussion today, but here we are. It is a personal choice. It is a personal decision. I am not arguing with that. I think it's a decision you should make. I think it's the smart decision to make. I think all the science on the table shows it's a smart decision to make. Though I know there are some people that are hesitant about that. Cool. We can have the conversation. But the starting quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens has now had to miss time not once, but twice for contracting coronavirus, whereas with the shot, you might not have had to. I mean, that is what it is. Quick break. When we come back, we talked a little bit about the Olympics. Paris has put out some of their plans for 2024, and I kind of like them because I think it actually gives folks a reason to genuinely get excited about the Olympics moving forward, and more importantly, to host them. I think it brings back some of that. So we'll get into that in a little bit more on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
QC Connects.
Our friends at QC Kinetics want you to be able to live your life healthy and No, I wasn't trying to do that. I had the button push, and if I leave my mouse there, it clicks on and off just like that.
You've already told everybody while I'm eating anyway. So
That's true. Protein bar, red Doritos, Diet Dr. Pepper. All right, let's see what I got. Keegan got if Keegan convinced the Satanists to give up their beliefs, would he have created an atheist? I had 3 or 4 people mention that conversation to me over the weekend. They were like, your show got a little off the rails. And I was like, Friday. I told you, I tried to tell you, Stathakis, the majority of Satanists are atheists. We can, next time we go to the bar, we'll have that discussion. Come to Trivia tomorrow. It'll get real weird. Are they still looking to pay a name? The Cleveland Guardians took 2 seconds to rebrand. Yeah, that's going over real well too, didn't it?
thought they had it limited. I mean, narrowed down to like 3 or 4 names. Like Red Foxes or something.
The Red Fox.
That may not be right. That's just the first thing that popped in my head.
I want them to be the Red Foxes now.
Play a Sanford and Son theme when they come out. It'd be awesome. Just saw hot dogs on a commercial lifting weights. You know what they didn't have on them?
Chili.
Chili.
All right. Look, I was going to put together a big, lengthy audio tribute to Bobby Bowden. All right. Bobby Bowden passing away over the weekend, 91 years of age, absolute legend in college football. And you know, one of those guys that as I was going through over around the social media this weekend after Coach Bowden passed away. One of the things that I noticed, and you guys know I worked in Florida for a very long time, right? I was on the air in Florida something like 12 years, 13 years. Been around Florida State fans, Miami fans, Florida fans, Georgia fans, kind of all centered around the Destin, Pensacola area where I'm from, where I got my broadcast career started. And so because I've had all of these these fans in and out of my life, and a lot of them as listeners have followed my career to other parts of the country, a lot of my social media feed are Gator fans, Hurricanes fans, Seminoles fans, Georgia fans, etc., from down in that region. So when it was announced that Coach Bowden passed away, like most times that news breaks in the sports world, I jump on the social media to see what the discussion looks like. What are people saying? So I jumped on and I realized something, and that something is that, Coach Bowden used to say, and I interviewed Coach Bobby Bowden on my old radio show down in Florida a number of times, 8, 9, 10 times over the years, both as a coach and after he retired. In fact, one of the most awkward questions I ever had to ask a coach while doing an interview a number of years ago, towards the end of Bobby Bowden's coaching career, when he was at Florida State, I was broadcasting from a Hooters in Panama City Beach, Florida. And when I started talking about them, and I started talking about Bobby Bowden and the fact that I kind of thought the game had passed Coach Bowden by. And that's you can ask any coach. That's something that happens to any coach who gets old, right? Get to the point where the game changes so much that it passes you by. It may or may not happen to Nick Saban. Dude's threatening 70, looks like he's 50. But for the last generation of coaches, the Bear Bryants and the Bobby Bowdens, which I don't know. I don't know if there's another guy like that out there outside of Saban. I mean, maybe Dabo. Maybe Dabo decides to stay at Clemson until he's, in his 60s. As Coach Bowden would say. Coach Bowden said, about 2007, 2008, I was doing a show at a Hooters in Panama City Beach, Florida. And there was a group of Florida State fans that had come out to hang out, right? We were on remote. It was a afternoon show remote, so it was probably 6 o'clock in the afternoon or so. And the 2007 FSU football team was like 7-6. I want to say they were like 4-4 in the ACC that year. I think they went to one of the goof off bowls, right? The bowls that nobody actually cares about, even though they say they do. And I went on the air and I said, "Hey, Florida State fans, you guys should name the field after Bobby Bowden. You should take Doak Campbell off the stadium. It should be Bobby Bowden Stadium. All right. You should name the campus after Bobby Bowden. You should name every building on the campus of Tallahassee should be Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden Research Hall, Bobby Bowden Dorms, Bobby Bowden Hospital, Bobby Bowden Gymnasium, Bobby Bowden Football Stadium, Bobby Bowden Field at Bobby Bowden Stadium, right? Every building should be named after Coach Bowden for what he did this program. But you're creating a monster of a problem for yourself now. Creating a problem in that the game's passed them by, the team's not getting better, you're getting left behind by the rest of college football. And I think it's time that you move on. I think you have to move on. I know that there's this thing, and we've had this conversation, Lonzo, about loyalty over the betterment of the program, right? Like, did Bobby Bowden earn a lifetime pass to stay as the coach and go 7-6 and 4-4 in conference until he was just ready to be done? Or at some point, do you have to go, sorry, coach, we love you. We want you to stay on board. We want you to be an ambassador. We want to name the football stadium after you, but you got to go, whatever. And I said, Florida State fans, it's time for you to let Coach Bowden go. Keep him on as an ambassador. Keep him on as the face of Florida State. Keep him around. But you got to get a new coach. And I got run out of Panama City on a rail. I was never invited to come back to Panama City. People from the FSU Booster Club that were at my show that night basically blacklisted me from all FSU activities in Panama City, which is a pretty big hotbed of FSU stuff halfway between Destin and Tallahassee. So about a year and a half later, I had Coach Bowden on the show, and I said, Coach, let me ask you a question. One of the FSU booster clubs in the state banned me because I said, and I hope you don't hang up on me for this, but I said it felt like there was a point where the game was maybe a little bit too different from what you were used to it being, and things just weren't going your way. And Bobby Bowden laughed in the phone. And he said, Lonzo, yeah, probably that is what happened. Probably that is what happened. But dadgummit, I love college football. And I was going to coach until they wouldn't let me anymore. And I'm not, he said, I don't hold any will. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not upset about any of this. It is what it is. Great dude. Just a good dude, man. Most awkward question I ever had to ask was to Bobby Bowden, and he answered it spectacularly, man.
So did you, at the last second, almost decide not to ask the question?
Yep, sure did. But I felt like I had to, right? I felt like I had to follow through with that. Because I needed his perspective on, do you felt the game passed you by? Do you felt the game changed too much? And he was delightful. Now, was it the only interaction that I ever had with Coach Bowden? Was it the only interaction I ever had with Coach Bowden? I was in a philanthropy group down in Destin called the All Sports Association. It's a group of 100 men from around Okaloosa County that comes together and just does stuff for youth sports around the community, right? They sponsor events and they do golf tournaments to raise money, et cetera, et cetera. Bobby Bowden was a huge part of our efforts there in Okaloosa County. And he used to come down for all kinds of events, and he would just show up. We invited Bobby Bowden, but his daughter and his grandkids lived in Fort Walton Beach, Destin, in that area. And whenever we'd have something going on, inevitably, we would get a box in the mail, and it was from Coach Bowden, full of FSU stuff that he signed for us. He would just send it. And I'm not just talking like a helmet. I mean, like memorabilia from his collection that he would send to us. Jacket that he wore in the 1993 Orange Bowl. Here you go, boys. Sign this for you. Make some money. Give it to the kids. There was it's not a rumor. For years, and this was a different day and age, Lonzo, but for many years in Tallahassee, Coach Bowden lived off of a golf course called Calern. And it was well known in Tallahassee that if you went to Coach Bowden's house and you left FSU memorabilia under his carport, because he didn't have a garage, if you left Florida State stuff under his carport, you could come back the next morning, Lonzo, and he'd have signed it and left it back out for you to come pick up.
Wow. That's awesome.
He would come out at night. He would pick up all the FSU stuff under his carport. He would take it inside. He would sign all of it. Then he'd put it back up under his carport for you to come back the next day and pick up your stuff that Coach Bowden signed for you. That was Bobby Bowden, man. That's Bobby Bowden. And look, there were some stories about Bobby that were funny. There was a story from a year that he played Florida. Back, him and Steve Spurrier had a legendary rivalry. And there was a story from one year where the Florida State-Florida rivalry got a little heated at midfield before the game. And a Florida quarterback threw a football at Bobby Bowden. And he missed, right? So after the game was over, they were talking about the little dust-up on the field before the game started. And Bobby Bowden made a joke about, well, you got to get his quarterbacks under control. One of their quarterbacks threw a football at me and missed. And a reporter said, well, Coach Bowden, what would happen if one of your quarterbacks threw a football at Steve Spurrier? And Bobby Bowden said, well, he'd have hit him. Like, come on, man. A great line, right? And it was always that with Coach Bowden. I'll give you one more quick story because this is a personal one. Coach Bowden's grandkid, well, his daughter, who's an attorney, lives in Fort Walton Beach, Destin, that area. And when I was a kid, her son, Bowden is his first name, was on a baseball team of mine, minor league, little league baseball. And there was a game I had to be 7 years old, 6 years old. It's been in the early 90s. Been early 90s. This, Lonzo, would have been in the beginning of the FSU dynasty, right? This would have been, FSU spent a lot of years in the late 80s hovering around the 7-8-9 run, and then in the late 80s, they suddenly became a team that won 10, 11 ball games a year. And then in the early 90s, suddenly they were winning 11, 12 ball games a year. And Bobby Bowden was at the forefront of this. Well, he came to a game, Little League, at right when, we're talking in the peak of that 93 national championship year. All right. Came to a game because his grandson Bowden was on my team. And he comes to the game, and obviously there's a commotion. We're in Shalimar Little League. Lonzo, Shalimar, Florida was a town at the time of probably 550 people, 600 people, tops. All right. And we're at this Little League baseball game at a little field that has two fields, and you never needed them both at the same time because there weren't that many kids. Bobby Bowden rolls up to the Little League field. Of course, there's a commotion, and Coach Bowden sits in the stands, and people are coming up to him trying to get their pictures. For those of you that are younger, when you wanted to take pictures back in the early 90s, you had these little disposable cameras, and you would take the picture, click, and then you go as you wound the little thing. And then you had
that thing was a pain in the butt, too.
It really was. Then you had to take it to like a drugstore to get the film developed, which took 4 or 5 days. And you ready for the worst part, kids? You didn't get to look at the photos to see if they were good or not. You just had to hope you nailed it, right? So anyway, people are up there trying to get pictures. Coach Bowden, and Coach says to the crowd full of people, if you guys will let me watch my grandson play ball, I'll sign every autograph and take every picture. I don't remember exactly what he said, but he basically told the crowd, let me watch my grandkid play ball and I'll do whatever you want. Before the game started, his son-in-law, John, was our coach. Coach Bowden came into our dugout and gave us this big speech about what it meant to win, but more importantly, what it meant to win with grace, what it meant to win with dignity, what it meant to win while taking care of your teammates, of the guys around you, of the opponents across from you. Gave us a whole speech about it, and then said, now go out and win the dadgum ball game. Great dude, man. College football lost an absolute icon this weekend. Quick break. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
specialty doctors for the Clemson Tigers and UofSC Gamecocks. Prisma Health Orthopedics can give you and your family the same care we provide top athletes. If hip and knee pain is making your daily life difficult, seek the best care. Find out if your pain is affecting your quality of life by taking a free health assessment. Don't let hip or knee pain hold you back. Learn more at prismahealth.org/ortho.
Wait. Okay, wait a minute. The more information we learn about your childhood, I don't think the upstate is surprised that standard hot dogs aren't mustard, chili, and onion. Yours probably came with sturgeon caviar on it. I just told you I played Little League Baseball in a town of 600 people, and you're going to put the 1%er label on me. What have I said that makes you think I'm a 1%er?
Here's what it comes down to. Rob is a 1%er, but I am the opposite from a poor side of town that people wouldn't even go to in Columbus and Ohio, by the way. Two different ends of the United States, up and down, and I agree with him. But I also agree with you. He's a 1%er.
How am I a 1%er?
Grew up on a golf course. Whether it's true or not, the perception.
I accept that from a kid who had teachers threatening to shoot him and launching desk at him. I accept that.
Dude, I would have loved to have grown up in your garage. I would have been all right living out in your garage. I've been good.
Golly.
And it's in Florida, so I'd have been warm most of the time. So I'd have been good with that. By the way, Steven, I can't stand Skyline chili. It's just not good.
Skyline chili is terrible.
It's not good.
It's
not.
Atrocious, and it's
not about the chili part.
Have chili on it.
It's the whatever sauce that they use. It's just it's not for me. I don't know.
It's awful.
Some people believe if you're from Ohio, you have to love Skyline chili, and that's not true.
Do better, Ohio.
Just like if you're from South Carolina, I don't believe that you have to love boiled peanuts and grits. I don't believe you have to.
My mother has chimed in to say I wasn't the 1%er, my dad was, which is true, because when I met Coach Bowden, there's a solid chance I was wearing like hand-me-down baseball cleats that he would have got me from like the Goodwill. My father's, this is 100% true. My father's theory on life was if Walmart don't sell it, you don't need it. That was a philosophy of his.
It's not a bad philosophy.
If Walmart don't sell it, you don't need it.
We were happy when we got Kmart closed. But yeah. And my cousin who I grew up with, my aunt, my mom shops at the same place. So a lot of times we got the same clothes. It's not a good thing going to high school with the same clothes. Unless it's twin day. It makes it easy.
All right, quick segment here. We ran a little late, but wanted to. Again. Lonzo, you know what? I had a texter. We had a listener in the stream who said that the more he learns about my childhood, the less surprised he is that the standard Rob Brown hot dog doesn't come with mustard, chili, and onions, because mine probably came with sturgeon caviar on it because I'm a 1%er. I just told you I played on a little league field that had 2 fields in a town with 600 people in it. And the only reason Bobby Bowden was at my game was because I happened to be on the one team that his grandson was on. And now all of a sudden, Rob is some haughty 1%er.
Hey, Rob, what's sturgeon caviar taste like?
I've never had it.
But you've had other caviar.
I've had Dom Perignon. It's gross. It's dry. It's so dry. Anybody who says, hey, Dom's where it's at. No. That's how I know you ain't drank good champagne. All right. But I've never, nope, that's a lie. I have had caviar on a cruise when I was like 17 years old. All right. And it's only because, Lonzo, I snuck into a place I was not supposed to be.
You?
I know. Yes. When I was we were on a cruise when I was like 17. I snuck into a place I was not supposed to be.
Did your mom know about this? Because if not, we know she's listening now.
I
You're kind of admitting.
I believe the statute of limitations has run up on this. All right. I believe. I went into, I don't know if snuck is the right word. The door was open, but I walked into a room, which I guess is where they were having the captain's dinner, where the actual one percenters on the cruise get to have dinner with the cruise captain, which I've never understood.
I've never been on a cruise. I saw the Love Boat a bunch, but
cruises are incredible.
Okay. All right.
They're incredible. They're a blast. But I've never understood, like when you were on the boat, seeing the captain is like seeing Michael Jordan, like he's the guy. And I'm like, dude, these things pretty much sail themselves at this point, right? Anyway, walked into the captain's dinner. Walked into the captain's dinner, and there was a waiter who was handing out. And when they gave out the caviar, they came on these like little tiny plates, and it was like just like a dot. And I had no idea what it was. Caviar, sir. I'm like, oh yeah, because I've heard, right? Like if you like caviar is with the rich, that's like what Jay-Z eats, right? That's what Jigga eats.
Is that what you were thinking?
Dumb and caviar.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what the rich people eat. In every movie about a rich person you've ever watched, that is the food that they let you know they're eating so that you know they're rich, right? Tell me, I mean, think of a movie that the rich person isn't eating caviar as a sign of their wealth. There's not one.
I agree.
Every one of them. So I'm like, oh, this is what the rich people eat. Let's see what this is all about. It was not a private cruise, Mike, in the Facebook chat. It was a Royal Caribbean cruise.
It wasn't private. It was expensive, but it wasn't private.
It really was. Well, let me phrase that. My old man paid for it. I don't know. Anyway, well, here you go. Here's your caviar, sir. So I tried it, and it is nasty. It's nasty.
By the way, I just want to say one more thing. The fact that the waiter called you sir, 1%.
I wasn't supposed to be in that room. That room was full of people that the waiters do call sir, and then me.
So did you just wander your way out, or did the caviar make you so sick?
No, I tried it. It wasn't good. I hung out for a minute, but like, dude, like I said, I was like 17. So you kind of got the sense that like, as the night went on, the people in charge of this event were like, who's that kid? Why's that kid in here? Because again, everybody in there was like in their 60s, and I'm 17.
But the smart move, if you're savvy, which you might have been, is to wander from group to group.
Yeah, here's the other thing.
And look like you belong in each group.
The rest of the food sucked. When rich people have parties, the food sucks.
Well, I hear tell that when you're older, you kind of lose your sense of taste and things like that. So you could probably,
This is a 14-year-old stinky goat cheese aged alongside it's like, dude, you want to know how I'm not a 1%er? You know what the best party food in a situation like that is? Swedish meatballs, pigs in a blankets, and a beer. All right? Don't 1%er me. Keegan says short segment here, followed by a rant for caviar for a full segment. Joe says cruises are a great reason to stay blackout for 3 to 7 days.
Is that getting your money's worth? I don't know.
That's not my style. Day at a time at most. I'm kidding. Calm down. ESPN Rob got to be in the room where it happens. It's a Hamilton reference, you uncultured swine. Back after this. Oh, I think I'm gonna call Chris also from now on.
Call him also.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him also. Because of a shirt. It says without me, it's just also.
I don't get it.
Ones that happen while we're out of the room.
Chris, can you explain your T-shirt to me?
Without me. With me.
It's awesome.
Awesome. Okay. All right, I get it now.
Worry about him sometimes?
No, I said I wanted to get the engineers on stream, and I just did.
Okay.
You guys can leave now.
Thanks.
You've been dismissed. Thank you.
The boy ain't smart, but he's so clever.
Did you say something bad about Hamilton?
No, I
Or-
didn't, because I didn't recognize it. By the way,
it says Lonzo we align political. Oh, probably just because you didn't recognize it. You haven't seen it yet.
and you know what? I probably never
You
will.
should watch it. It's good.
I'm not into show tunes and stuff. I'm just not. There are no superheroes in Hamilton.
The founding fathers. Are you saying they're not super?
You know what? Cats has been around a long time too, but I'm not going to go watch that.
Sucks.
That's just,
Cats Sucks.
I'm just not going to.
I can't talk bad about Cats because my family went out of the way to take me to Broadway and let me see it before it went off and blah 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 blah. But Cats sucks.
I refuse to be shamed because I didn't see a musical.
You should. It's good.
I told.
It's good.
Sorry.
But you should. It's good.
That's exactly what a 1%er would say about going to see a live play.
God, you've never seen a play before?
Yes, I've seen them and been in them,
Okay.
but only in high school when it was required. Chris is going to get me back for that, by the way. He will get me back. He absolutely will, and I won't see it coming, and that's fine.
Stathakis says Lonzo politically we align, but Hamilton is amazing. It's good. It's very good. It's not wrong.
I just don't watch plays and show tunes. I'm just not into that. I'd rather go immerse myself in a video game than watch a play. And it doesn't mean I'm uncultured. I'm not
Don't like
interested.
things that are cultured.
No, I have reached the age where I know my time is limited. So I'm gonna partake in the things that I know I like.
Golly.
Didn't see
You
that.
know,
Didn't see that turn coming, did
I'm
you?
at the age where I'm gonna die soon, so golly.
That's
Did
not.
not see us going down that road.
I said my time was limited. I didn't say it was going to die soon.
Panther practice update and Clemson and Carolina both had their opening camp day last Friday. All that more coming up in the next hour of the Rob Brown Show at ESPN Upstate. What are the other two, Keegan?
Look at that. My bed ended early, so I threw the same bed in and I transitioned between beds and no one saw it coming. You know why? Because I am an award-winning producer. That's why. I'm going to make 10,000 mistakes in the next hour, but that was great.
Also, speaking of musicals,
I love Wizard of the Oz.
Wizard of the Oz.
Yeah. When you get older, you got to put the in front
Wizard
of
of
it. You got to
Oz.
put the in front of things when you get older, like the Twitter or the Facebook
I
or
love that the title
the
is
Instagram.
The Wizard of Oz, but you went Wizard of the Oz, so you got rid of a the to add a the.
So I'm if I were dyslexic, would you be making fun of me right now? Or would you be saying, man, I was close?
That's not how dyslexia works, but go off. La La Land and Sweeney Todd. I actually have not seen La La Land. I've heard it's pretty good. Sweeney Todd,
Are you allowed to watch Sweeney Todd? Because I thought Johnny Depp was canceled.
Why would Johnny Depp be canceled?
Abuse.
Johnny Depp got his ass kicked. He didn't abuse anybody.
Yeah, but he also got kicked out of his role for
because of her.
because
Because
she
of
made it
Amber
look
Heard.
like he did it, and then it's just I'm just saying,
No, Johnny Depp's great. He's an American icon.
My wife,
Tony Todd's great.
My wife, I had it on Vice yesterday, just watching Beyond the Ring or what I forget what that's called.
Right.
Because while I'm babysitting, I will watch some stuff like that, and she continued watching it.
Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah, Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
And she was watching something. She's like, Tony Atlas was on there, and everybody was trying to, and he would not lie and said he was going to tell the truth about I think it was Bruiser Brody being
Yeah.
murdered. And I was like, we interviewed him. She's like, you did? That's the guy. It's like, yep, yeah, we did.
Yes, Keegan's correct. We ended up canceling Amber Heard. We uncanceled Johnny Depp. That is correct.
We'll see how canceled she is when Aquaman 2 comes out.
She's not in it.
Yes, she is.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is.
They removed her from
No,
it.
they didn't.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
She got removed from something. Oh, they didn't.
They
Producer
tried. They
Peter
tried to
Safran
get her
says
removed.
Pure fan pressure isn't a reason to change casting. No, maybe do it because she's a
And
terrible
by the way,
person.
she came and did reshoots for the Snyder Cut. That was all new.
Yeah, but she did get cut out of that though.
No, she was in it. In the Snyder Cut. Absolutely.
I just blanked her from my mind apparently. Facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. Join us on the live stream every day. You can also go to Twitter.com/ESPN Upstate. You can also go to YouTube and search The Rob Brown Show. The Rob Brown Show. Tell me you've never ridden a motorcycle without telling me you've never ridden a motorcycle.
By the way, I've ridden many motorcycles when I was younger, and I just did that
They go
on
backwards,
purpose.
right?
No, I did that on purpose to be funny. I know how to ride a motorcycle.
Lonzo tells me during the segments, he writes down and says, here's the endorsement coming up in the next break.
Well,
And then
because
coming up,
usually
we're
I
gonna-
would tell you before, but I forgot because we were having an interesting conversation on the stream, which is why you should check it out.
Yeah, we were talking about canceling and uncanceling people. Amber Heard canceled, Johnny Depp uncanceled because we were talking about musicals, and Keegan said that Sweeney Todd is a great version, which is absolutely correct. But speaking of canceled and uncanceled, I don't know how many of y'all got the opportunity to watch the Team USA men's and women's gold medal matches. First and foremost, I would like to go ahead and go on the record and say that the greatest American sports dynasty alive today, Lonzo, is the U.S. women's national basketball team. They are the best sports dynasty in America today. Agree or disagree? Can you come up with one that's better active today? I can't.
It's a short notice. And I don't want to be like another show and just have nothing but silence for a long period of time. I cannot think of one. Doesn't mean there isn't one, but my limited capacity for thought cannot come up with one.
So dramatic. So dramatic. Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. women's national basketball team, 7 consecutive gold medals. What are they at? A 60-ish game winning streak at this point?
It really comes down to that the men around the world have caught up because basketball is so popular in Europe. But are there leagues for women in
Yeah. In Europe, so in Europe, a lot
So
of
I've
these
never
clubs-
heard of them before.
Yeah, well, again, it's fair or not. It's not just women's sports. We got a hard enough time. I get enough graph when we try to work WNBA into the show, right? Rob, why?
You're not supposed to say that I was doing that to you. I apologize.
It's not Lonzo. But taught women's soccer on the show. We get pushback for it, right? We get all kinds of pushback for this stuff. So when I when I'm looking at dynasties and where dynasties stand right now, I don't think there's a better dynasty than Team USA women's basketball under Dawn Staley right now. I think she has pushed. Because, yeah, you're right, Lonzo. The men's game, there are teams around the world that are catching up with the men. France had 8 NBA players on that team. 8. I don't care if they're a bad 8. At the end of the day, you put 8 NBA players on a team. Any player who makes it to the NBA is one of the best 300-400 players on planet Earth, okay? 8 NBA players on a team, really good. Really good. Team USA women's basketball is preventing the rest of the world from keeping up because they keep getting better. They keep getting better. And on top of that, what's the one big discussion we've been having the last couple of weeks? Pride in representing the country, right? We want pride. Even if you politically have issues with things going on in the country, we want you to have pride while you're overseas representing us. The girls representing Team USA are the first ones to wrap flags. They are the first ones out there in the front of the walkout opening ceremony, et cetera, et cetera. They are the best active dynasty in American sports going right now. Now, flip over to the men who also won gold. Speaking of France, get a second crack at the French, second opportunity at the French. And what do? No big deal. Go out there and win that game. Now, to say it was anything but a hotly contested game would be a lie. It got a little dicey there at the end. The Americans had a double-digit lead. France able to knock it back down to 8. It was just like, man, can't stop gritting the teeth. But they got it done. And I don't know if you saw it. Did you get a chance to watch the game live, Lonzo?
I watched a good portion of it, and then I got really comfortable.
So you fell asleep.
I did fall asleep.
All right.
Yes, but I fell asleep with 4 minutes left in the game.
You missed the best.
The best part of the game. Yeah, I fell asleep.
The game was over. And as soon as the Americans had locked up the gold, they went straight to the side of the court, and every one of them, every one of them grabbed an American flag, wrapped it around their shoulders, and weren't just like wearing it. Remember, because I got to tell you, if there is an offensive thing that's been done with the American flag, it was Jordan using it only to cover up a Reebok logo, right?
I will say, I saw KD doing an interview while holding the flag, and I've seen the smile on his face when he's won the NBA championship, and it's a different kind of smile when you win a gold medal.
Yeah.
And I think you can tell if someone is genuinely happy to have won that contest, and he just looked really, really elated.
Yeah, I think it mattered to him. And I think it mattered to Draymond. And I think it mattered to JaVale. I think it mattered to Drew. I think it mattered to Chris Middleton. And when they showed these cats, not just with the flag drape, Lonzo, they're going to the crowd that doesn't exist and holding it up over their heads. They're on the podium holding it up. Last night, some of them showed up in Las Vegas at G League Summer League games carrying that gold medal, wearing that gold medal along with their Team USA gear. Here's the point that I'm making. If you've been bagging on those cats because you don't like the messaging or you don't like this or you don't like that, don't worry, because I'm proud of them. I'll be proud of them for you. And I was a critic, Lonzo. I was a critic. I was beating up Team USA during the exhibitions in Vegas 3 weeks ago. I was putting out an article going, what's wrong with Team USA when they dropped the ball to France in the opening game? I was a critic. And as far as I am concerned, that team looked every dude like me in the face and went, criticize this, sucker. They won. They won big. They won gold. They immediately draped themselves in the flag because they were damn proud of themselves for winning gold. They came back to the States and started rolling around the gold medal with the Team USA gear in public. I don't know, man. I saw people on social media wanting to go, hell, Lonzo, you know how hard it is for me to be happy for Kevin Durant. Kevin the burner account Durant. Not a guy I'm a big fan of in the NBA regular season, but I'll tell you what. On Friday night at 11:45 midnight, when KD was putting on the gold medal, dude, I was stars and stripes proud as hell of him, man. That dude put Team USA on his back down the stretch of that game. On his back. 3-point shots stopped falling for everybody. KD's out there lighting up the glass. Put that team on his back. I was very proud of this team. Very proud. Now, there's still some ugly stuff we got to talk about. Kind of think it's probably time for Pops to ride off into the sunset. I don't know who the next guy is that takes over. It looks like it's going to be Steve Kerr, who I'll tell you the truth, not excited about. Not excited about. I'm not a big Steve Kerr as a coach fan. But with all that being said, Lonzo, pretty good day to be a Team USA basketball fan. The women dominated the entire freaking world. The men took every bit of criticism lofted at them by dudes like, well, you know, me, and told us shove it. Good on them. Good on them. All right, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307. Let's take a break. When we come back, some of my favorite clips from the NFL Hall of Fame ceremony. Some of the great audio we got from these teams when we return to the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
Updates powered by the score. Atlanta Braves baseball, they knocked off the Nationals by a 5-4 score. They take 2 of 3 over the weekend. They are now in second place in the National League East. Ozzie Albies and Adam Duvall each hitting a 2-run home run. Max Fried, he allows 1 run on 7 hits with 1 walk and strikeouts as he throws 6 innings. Monday, an off day for the Braves. They are going to get back at it when they match up against Cincinnati coming up on Tuesday. Drew Smiley against Sonny Gray. Looking at the standings in the NL East, the Phillies now have a 2-game lead on the Braves, and then the Mets sitting in third place, 2.5 back. Download the Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts, so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
He's about to grab hold on ESPN Upstate. On the radio station. Sorry, our fault. Let's try. It will consume you. Interference. Come on. Give me a break. Yeah. Football season has arrived. You got to be beautiful. Follow the Paladins, Tigers, Gamecocks, Panthers, and Rebels on ESPN Upstate. Delay a game on the radio station. Let's get to it. Seriously? Stop living with that awful joint pain. And don't let them tell you surgery is your only option. We're excited to tell you about QC Kinetics. Right here in Greenville and Asheville, QC Kinetics is the leader in biologic therapies, regenerative solutions that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints with no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, pain in your hips. Patients here are raving about getting lasting results from QC Kinetics. Call now to learn more. 864-448-3772. If you have chronic joint pain, don't assume the old treatments are the only treatments. Learn more about new biologic therapy options now available here. Restorative, regenerative treatments for joint pain. Finally, call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772. Get your life back without pain. 864-448-3772.
Night in the Country Carolinas, presented by Eagle. August 26th through the 28th, the Tryon International Equestrian Center. Rooms and barbecue, a craft beer experience, music and London.
All right, this is non-spoilery to a degree.
Okay.
But have you seen the things that say that Margot Robbie actually did that thing with her feet?
I have not seen that thing that says that she actually did that with feet.
I've seen
impressive.
I've seen it reported from several different sources.
Really?
Yes.
It was impressive.
It's very agile.
Very agile.
Because I thought it was a cutaway.
I assumed it was
yeah,
a cutaway.
Yeah, but apparently it wasn't. We've seen people like Jean-Claude Van Damme and some guys like that, martial artists, do that sort of
Right.
thing. But
Odyssey gets you ready for the football season with training camp coverage. Tune into Training Camp Live every week, live or on demand, for on-the-ground updates on top teams from NFL insiders. Plus, follow your team with daily podcasts from the Locked On Podcast Network and get coverage from your favorite local stations.
by the way, Steven, to answer your question, I would never say I want a hot dog all the way. You say that for like a
Correct.
hamburger, but
Correct.
you don't say that for a hot dog. That's just, no offense, but that's kind of weird. I've never heard anyone word it that way before. I think that's a pretty much a hamburger only thing.
100%.
See, when both sides of the track agree. There's a video tweeted out from Dan Patrick. If he continues to put more stuff in front of him, you're not going to see him anymore. You know, all the stuff on the front of his desk while he's doing the show.
Gotcha.
There's just so much stuff up there. He's starting to you started to lose him in the background, including that office dude's head. Sorry, I don't know the guy's name.
Hey, that's us! The show nominated for Best Sports Talk Show in the state of South Carolina, which we will find out on Saturday if Zoe and I are walking back in with the trophy or if we are never going to mention it again after Monday. One or the other. We'll let you know.
Or we come in and we play like we're never going to mention it, and then boom, there it is on the camera.
No chance I'm not showing that trophy off all the way from Saturday night to Monday. No chance. None. Hall of Fame. NFL Hall of Fame ceremony was this weekend. Couple of interesting stories out of that, and a couple of really good moments out of that. That I wanted to address. I will start number one, if you don't mind, please. Lonzo, clip number one is Tom Flores. Tom Flores, of course, was a coach for the Oakland Raiders, currently the Las Vegas Raiders. Tom Flores got to unveil his bust alongside current Raiders owner and owner of the weirdest haircut in America, Mark Davis.
Are you sure it's real? I'm not so.
That haircut?
Yeah.
Not only is it real, but he's been asked about it multiple times. And what he has said, Lonzo, as the billionaire owner of a football program, that he prefers to give himself his own haircut to save money. Not kidding.
Frugal. If you had to pick between that haircut and the Boris Johnson haircut, what you going with?
Anyway, Tom Flores had the opportunity to, by the way, helmed the 2 of the 3 Super Bowl victories for the Raiders. Was a trailblazer in the NFL, a quarterback, one of 20 men to play all 10 years in the American Football League. He was also one of the first minorities to play in the NFL, the son of Mexican immigrants. Flores was the NFL's first Latino coach to win a Super Bowl, and then with the Seattle Seahawks, first to be general manager and first to be team president. He told a story during his speech that people used to come at him. They used to call him names. They used to demean him, et cetera, et cetera. And then he told this little story during his Hall of Fame speech with a great walk-off line.
It's Super Bowl 15 in New Orleans. The clock is ticking down. There's 1 minute left, and we're ahead by 17 points. One of my assistants, Sam Bogosian, the late Sam Bogosian, who was also from the Central Valley of California and whose family is here tonight, leaned over and looked at me and said, "Not bad for a couple of grape pickers." And I said, "Sam, not bad at all for a couple of grape pickers." Thank you so much. Congratulations, class of 2020, class of 2021. Go Raiders.
Not bad for a couple of grape pickers. A name that he used to be called as the child of Mexican immigrants.
I'm glad you helped, because I thought he said grave pickers, and the whole time. Okay, he said it twice. I'm like, what is a grave picker?
Grape picker.
Okay, all right, that helps.
Number 2, Jimmy Johnson gave his Hall of Fame speech after finally getting in, talked about his desire not just to be a great coach, but to motivate his players as well.
I always tried to make my people better. Right, Charles? Try to make us better. Every player, every coach, I tried to make them better. And, I never really dreamed. I wasn't a dreamer. Dreaming's hoping. I believed. I really believed. And people say, what made you think when you were at Miami, you're going to take these inner city kids and they were going to get an education? What made you say that you were going to get them a college degree? Because that's what I talked about. I believe they were. And I may tell you, 90% of them got their college degree. And that's what I was proud of. What made you think that you're going to win a Super Bowl when you were 1-15? I didn't dream about it. I believed that we were going to win a Super Bowl.
JJ, I didn't believe. I knew it. Love it. Edgerrin James, clip number 4. I'm going to skip one because I'm going to come back to John Lynch. Edgerrin James, Edge, got up on the platform, and Edge said, look, you don't let other people tell you what you're capable of based on how you look, and he laid the hammer down.
My closing message
proudly represent the real you. Follow your dreams, aim high, and create the life you want to live. And to all those who have been judged prematurely because of their appearance, the way they speak, where they come from, and in the minds of many should be locked up in prison, I represent us. I'm forever immortalized, locked up in the Canton Correctional Institution. Inmate number 336 in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. My career started with gold teeth and ended with this gold jacket. Good night and God bless.
Adrian freaking James. My career started with gold teeth and ends with a gold jacket. God, love that one. Love that one, man. Absolutely fantastic. Number 5, Isaac Bruce. Isaac may or may not hold a grudge against people. And by may or may not, I mean definitely 100% does.
To the nameless voice that called me 2 weeks before the draft in 1994 to let me know that the NFL wasn't checking for me. They didn't like me. They like more of NFL legend Bertie Manuel and Ryan Yarborough. I know you're alive. I know you're listening. I pray God keep you alive for this day. So my message to you is, rap legend Kool Moe Dee wanted me to ask you, how you like me now?
Dude, what kind of grudge do you have to hold, Isaac Bruce, to pray a man stays alive just so you can take a run at him years later in your Hall of Fame speech?
Colonel Grudge says respect, yo.
Colonel Grudge approves. Colonel Grudge tested. Colonel Grudge approved.
Hit myself in the chest again. That was stupid.
I love that Isaac Bruce was like, this dude talked smack to me in 1993. About time to get that comeuppance, don't you think?
I think that's awesome as someone who uses that sort of thing as motivation when I'm told I can't do something and never will be able to do it. I love hearing that in other people because he used it as fuel. He used it as a drive. He never forgot about it. And I hope that guy was still alive to hear that.
Whew. I prayed to God to keep you alive just so I could ask you now, how you like me now, dog?
I forgot all about Kool Moe Dee.
Right? Clip number 6. Calvin Megatron Johnson. I'm playing this for one reason and one reason alone. Colonel Grudge tested, Colonel Grudge approved, part 2. Megatron, not a big fan of the Detroit Lions. Played his whole career there. How many times did he mention the Detroit Lions? 0. But in going out of his way to mention the Detroit Lions 0 times, he made sure to thank the Detroit fans.
Lions fans, the city of Detroit. When we were 0-16, you never stopped showing up. You were disappointed, but you never stopped showing up. Every week you showed up. And this motivated me to do the same thing for you. You love me and my family unconditionally over these 15 years. I want you to know, Michigan is our home, Detroit is our city, and Lions fans are our pride.
Never said a word to or about the Lions, but made sure to lay it down for the fans. I respect that. 2 guys came to the stage with grudges, both of them wide receivers, and both of them walked off of there with the approval of the majority of us. I'm fine with it. The Lions screwed Megatron for years. Megatron could have been, though, in the GOAT wide receiver discussion, but Detroit never did a damn thing with or about him. And it's too bad.
If I recall, he retired earlier and could have went somewhere else, right?
He could have, but I think at that point he was so disillusioned with football, it's like, I'm not going to be able to give my best anywhere else. And think about that. left early, still a Hall of Famer on the first ballot.
But if you hate a team so much, go somewhere else so you can wear their colors in, because you still got to wear the Detroit colors in.
I don't know, man. I bet if there's a way to opt out, Megatron found it. Can you just put me in like nothing and just gray? Lonzo, I'm going to ask you to trust me here. I need to play audio off this computer real quick. It's a 5-second clip, and it was without a doubt, the best audio captured from the Hall of Fame ceremony. Bill Cowher gives his speech. He's walking back to the podium, and this is picked up from the stage by an ESPN hot mic. Did you catch that?
Nope.
Try it one more time. You can turn it up. It's a quiet clip.
So there's no cursing.
There's no cursing.
All
here.
right.
Promise. Somebody asked Bill Cowher, let's go smoke joints in the parking lot. Some member of the NFL Hall of Fame, when Bill Cowher, who, by the way, pulled a rosary out of his pocket to end his Hall of Fame speech, was immediately asked by somebody else on stage, let's go smoke joints in the parking lot. Nice. All right. And finally, clip number 3. I am going to end this segment with John Lynch, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, guy who also ended up taking over the GM role for the Niners and has been doing a good job there. John Lynch had a message for all Americans on his way into Canton.
The National Football League is the greatest metaphor for life that I've ever known. It challenges each and every one of us who plays this great game in every way possible. Everything about the game is hard and tests your will. It compels every man who puts on a uniform to not only do their best, but to be their best. In football, we quickly discover that we're only as strong as our weakest link. And if we're to achieve the goals that we set for ourselves, we must all learn to play together and pull together. Each of us comes from a different walk of life, but when we huddle up as a team. It doesn't matter where we come from or your background. All that matters is the fulfillment of one goal, victory. Tonight, I advocate that we take the lead of football and huddle up as a people, as a great nation. Let's find the common ground through our shared values. Let's celebrate and learn from our differences. Derek Brooks from Pensacola, Florida.
Word.
Warren Sapp from Apopka, Florida. And John Lynch from Solana Beach, California have. So too can all of you.
There you go. John Lynch. Find it. Find that middle ground like a football team. Compared life to the NFL, and I get it. All right, take a break. Come back here in just a minute. One segment left. Then we wrap it up with Twitter on a Monday. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's ESPN Upstate.
An Odyssey station.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick. The type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera. And the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous seating views, there's more.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine.
Comes up when speaking about sports, but let's talk about your future wife. She is the go to your life. And when it's time to make her your wife and Skatel her you truly love her, Skatels will be there to guide you through your ring buying journey. Free customization, financing, and a lifetime warranty are all part of the Skatels experience, one you truly will appreciate. Start your engagement ring journey at SkatelsJewelers.com. Do you even remember the last time you changed your spark plugs? Well, then now's a good time. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate when you purchase 4 or more select Iridium spark plugs. With a at back of your car. Visit your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
Today's single from Wendy's made with fresh, never frozen beef has the power to blow your mind. But now that today's single
Great question from Joe Lonzo. What do we think about the NXT releases? I'll let you go first.
Dripping with haughtiness. That's just what I want to say.
The releases were?
Because this comes down to Rob believing that AEW wins when WWE loses, and that's not how this comes down to it. I still think there's a chance. I talked about this Saturday of oversaturation. It's unfortunate that these people lost their jobs, but they'll find jobs pretty quick, especially some of them who are very talented, and some of them may end up back in the WWE. I'm more concerned with changes that are supposedly coming to NXT, which would make these smaller guys obsolete,
Changes
according
from
to
who, by the
reports.
way? Those changes?
All these are rumors, so I don't take them as fact. And you act like I'm a McMahon apologist. I'm not. I do believe that that both companies can exist and thrive, and I hope they do so, because I like the variety of wrestling, and I like the chance that they both will eventually go head to head and get better. But I saw a graphic where people showed WWE and then showed AEW and pointed out all the WCW people in it. Last I checked, WCW failed. And you could blame that on ownership. You could blame it on the management at the time, but WCW failed after a while. So hopefully AEW doesn't have that same problem. We thought for a while, a lot of people thought that TNA would end up rising to the level that AEW has. And hopefully AEW continues to rise, or at least stays where it's at. But longevity for other companies hasn't really been a thing as far as being relevant. So we'll see what happens. Rob Brown Show, what do you want to talk about? Okay, what's your name? All right, hold on. You're right, Joseph. They're not, and hopefully that's the difference. But we'll see. Again, I hope AEW thrives. They have definitely improved, and you will notice I've been less critical as they've gotten better. I just want a good product. That's all. Golf cart.
The Rob Brown Show rolling on. This is ESPN Upstate. Steve Spurrier just a few minutes ago put out a release on the passing of Bobby Bowden. Steve Spurrier is, and you guys know this here, especially you Gamecocks fans. Steve Spurrier is a guy who's got no issue throwing the old verbal 1-2 at you, but he's also a cat that if you earn his respect, he has no issue paying that respect to you. Yesterday, Spurrier put out a message, quote, Bobby Bowden was one of the all-time greatest coaches in the history of college football. He's the second winningest coach of all time behind Joe Paterno. We had some good battles during my 12 years of Florida. He won most of them, and we won a few. I enjoyed our relationship after coaching as we serve for rising stars, which helps young men and women from difficult backgrounds go to college and be successful. So a little love for Coach Bowden from Steve Spurrier. And, you know, there's just, and it seems like we have this conversation every now and then, Lonzo, there's just these very small handful of names in athletics that transcend the sport, right? And it's unfortunate that usually we talk about them after they pass. Bobby Bowden's in that group. Bobby Bowden was one of the good people in college football. And that's not to say that he got them all right? I mean, there was some questions about the way that he disciplined or sometimes did not discipline guys on his football team, directly related to their talent and ability, right? We know that. But Bobby Bowden is going to go down, not just as one of the greatest college football coaches of all time, not just as one of the most brilliant college football coaches of all time. Bobby Bowden is going to go down as a good human being that transcended college football. I think there were, when I got on social media after the announcement that Coach Bowden had passed away, one of the things that I saw was Miami fans saying, you know what? Can't stand the guy, don't like the guy, but you had to respect the guy, right? You got to respect Coach Bowden. He's exactly right. Florida fans, how many times did I cuss out Bobby Bowden, but still respect the guy, still love the guy? Those messages filled up social media after the announcement that Coach Bowden had passed away. And it does not shock or surprise me in the least. Does not surprise or shock me in the least. College football lost not just a hell of a coach, but an absolute icon. An absolute icon. Ahead of him on the list of all-time winningest coaches ever, John Gagliardi, who coached at Carroll in the late 40s and the 50s in St. John's from 1953 to 2012. 489 wins, 138 losses. Joe Paterno is still considered on the list. 46 years, 409 and 136, a 74.9% winning percentage. Eddie Robinson, the great Eddie Robinson from Grambling University, 41 to 97 with 408, and Bobby Bowden with 307. Right there, top 5 all time. Lost a whale of a human being, did these people. Jason is on the line to talk a little Hall of Fame before we head to Twitter trending topics. Jason, thanks for checking in, bud. Great to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me. A great take on Bobby Bowden. I just want to say the guy was real, and whatever. Great coach and everything, great guy. But one of the most important things, he was real. He was consistent. Mainly the players knew what to expect from him. I think that was one of the main reasons he was successful. I'll say this, about the Hall of Fame. We're a very proud moment as a fan last night. Being a Tennessee fan, loved watching Peyton go in. Just an amazing, following him since his freshman season at Tennessee. He was actually the second most popular quarterback in this freshman season. Brandon Stewart was the guy that transferred to Texas A&M. The fans liked him a lot better. Stewart was a more athletic-looking quarterback versus a tall, lanky quarterback by Peyton. But obviously, us fans, we didn't know what we were talking about. And and he created a lot of Colts fans around East Tennessee, around the Knoxville area. And I don't know if there's been really a college fan base who's followed a pro, one of their guys into the pro career more than Peyton Manning did. And there's just a very, very proud moment, and just love watching that. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, Jason. Appreciate it. And Peyton Manning is going to go down as I think one of the most beloved quarterbacks, man. Peyton Manning's a hard guy to dislike, right? I was laughing because on Thursday night during the Hall of Fame game, Joe and Troy interviewed Peyton, and he comes out, Lonzo, and he's got his white polo tucked into his dark dad jeans with the snakeskin belt and his Ray-Bans hanging out of the front of his pocket. And he's just the most dad quarterback of all time. He never picked his feet up, but I imagine he was wearing the white New Balances under his dark denim dad jeans. Peyton Manning was a hard guy to dislike and remains a hard guy to dislike.
Yeah, I don't like Peyton Manning, and I like him after the career. I like his post NFL career. Just didn't like him. Didn't like the way he talked. Didn't like just a lot of things about him. And he finished up his career playing for Denver, which made me like him even less as a Kansas City Chiefs fan. So good on him for going in. Maybe he should have asked him to make his forehead a little bit smaller on his bust. Maybe, because it's
a joke lives on in eternity.
Well, dude, have you seen?
Yeah.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, it's big.
It's also accurate, but it's pretty big. This is not me being contrarian. There's a reason why I haven't talked when you talked about the Hall of Fame, because I didn't watch this year for the first time in a really long time, because there was no one in this Hall of Fame class that I saw that really made me want to watch.
Really?
Yes.
No one on this class.
No.
Not Megatron.
No. Wasn't really a big Megatron fan. I think you got to be a fan of and I'm not going to watch just because, it's the Hall of Fame and there's going to be some really good speeches, because out of them all, probably the best speech I figured would be Peyton Manning.
100%.
And as I just said, not really a big Peyton Manning fan. So.
John Lynch did? I figured you'd be a John Lynch guy.
I loved him.
Fly around the field and wail on.
Oh yeah, I love Lynch as a player. Absolutely did.
Okay.
But as far as speeches goes, and I'm also concerned with any award show anymore being nothing but politics.
Oh, this isn't an award show. This is a football
and from what I understand, it seems like there weren't a lot of politics. But in the end, each year there's at least one player that I want to see. This year there wasn't, and it's been the first time in a really long time.
Little shocked by that, to be honest.
Didn't you wonder why I was quiet?
I mean, I honestly, I just thought you were like, wow, Rob is nailing it like always. I have nothing to add.
Well, that's pretty much every day, but no, it's just because I wanted to make sure that we waited till the end of the show till we got the text from, how can you do a sports show and you didn't even watch the Hall of Fame? You should be taken off the air.
I mean, we get that call anyway.
Yeah, well, we do. Hey. Didn't
it
care.
Is what it is.
Don't care for the guy, okay? And so I'm not going to purposefully watch someone that I don't really like.
Also, speaking of things that Lonzo is going to disagree with me, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow. I've seen like 4 different news outlets that are absolutely bagging on KD and Draymond Green because they had the audacity to have a handful of drinks in IG Live, their post-gold medal celebration. These guys just won gold for your country.
By the way, just because I don't like alcohol, you're an adult. Do what you want to do. Yeah. I'm sure they weren't driving afterwards, so they're fine.
They'll never drive again for the rest of their life if they don't want to. Draymond and KD got blasted and went on IG Live to celebrate their gold medal, and I'm flipping around, and there are news networks that were like, my pearls, they are clutched. The shame, the audacity. Like, dude, I tell you right now, if I win a gold medal, count me in that group. All right? Count me in that group. Let's take a break. We're back after this with Twitter Trending Topics to wrap it up on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Off card.
2021 Upstate Golf Card is available and on sale now, ladies and gentlemen. That is right. 9 rounds of golf at 9 of the most beautiful and prestigious golf courses around the entire Upstate. And all you got to do is go to upstategolfcard.com, upstategolfcard.com to get yours right this very second. You pick up one, you are going to get to play a round of golf at 9 beautiful courses around the Upstate. You're going to get to play a round of golf at 9 prestigious courses around the Upstate, and you're doing it for less than $15 a round, less than $1 a hole. You're not finding a deal like that anywhere else at all, period. It is what it is. Go to upstategolfcard.com to get yours. Upstategolfcard.com. It's the 2021 Upstate Golf Card.
You're right, Keegan. It was because of Tom Brady.
Call their competitors to see if any of them could beat Spectrum's business internet plus phone offer for $69.98 per month with no added phone taxes or fees. Here are real quotes from the competition.
How do you pull in no fees and taxes? That's madness.
I would 100% go with Spectrum.
Even the competition recommends Spectrum Business. Call 855-339-5344 and switch to Spectrum Business today. Competitor quotes, maximum phone conversations, limited time offer, restrictions apply.
Oreos oat crunch almond. Everyone's morning started with a smile. It has a delicious and hearty combination of the Cheerios of whole grain oats and extra.
Suddenly, it got rid of Doc in here.
Yeah, we got one rain cloud coming over us.
Eagles Markets is hiring in all divisions: retail, distribution, corporate, and pharmacy. Eagles is an equal opportunity employer offering competitive wages, advancement opportunities, benefits, and holiday vacation sick pay. For more information and to apply, visit eagles-markets.com/careers.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents.
And we're back with Emu, and Doug for the final question. Category is things you climb. All right, Emu, what do you think? You sure? We're going with Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. Oh, so close.
He probably will, but there's kind of an open bar during, so it may not it may not be an after thing. I will try. I don't think I need to regulate. Like, hey man,
Listen,
just hold off just another 10 minutes and then go to town type of thing.
If your boy's gonna dive into the rum and Sprites, it'll be after the win. Like if I lose, I'm not gonna. Like I don't drown sorrows.
Plus, there might be some nervousness, and you don't want to throw up on your way up to the So
correct. And say, I mean, look, what I think I had one beer before the first pitch to take the nerves off, and then I was like, nope, that's it, because I got something to do here.
Oh, you sweated that out too.
Oh yeah, I did.
You did.
I had a beer before the first pitch. I will probably have a drink. How deep is it? Like the awards are like deep into like after dinner, or is it like right when we get in there?
No,
like, okay,
it's heavy hors d'oeuvres. So right when you get there, you can eat.
Okay.
And they say heavy hors d'oeuvres, but it's a meal. But you gotta go up and get your own stuff.
Yeah.
So and they had a DJ there last time. I don't know if they'll have a DJ this time. And then, but remember, you got TV awards mixed in with radio awards, so you don't know for sure where it's going to fall in. Yeah. You do know that the
50% chance I will be in the bathroom when we come up.
Well, you know what I've warned you. If you come out and I'm not there, I'm gone. It's time for Twitter Trending Topics, where we talk about Rob going to the bathroom during the awards ceremony and Lonzo taking the trophy and going home.
That's all I need.
He thinks it's a joke.
I know it's not.
It's not a joke.
I know it's not. Like that's now I'm wildly nervous
See how this works. We're honored to be going to get this award because we're bringing home the gold, baby. But here's the problem: the person with their name on the show, they get a trophy. the other person gets a nice certificate. So if
Are both our names on the trophy?
they are,
Okay.
which means that, if somebody else were to take the trophy home, they can say, hey, my name's on there. If
Sure.
somebody else were to do that. So if you're in the bathroom and they announce the award and we win and I walk up and accept the award, I'm going to instruct my wife that I'm immediately walking to the car.
And now it's going to be this awkward thing because my lady friend and your wife just met for the first time last week. And now I'm going to be like, listen, I need you to keep an eye on
Well, she gets it. She
I
gets
need
it.
you to keep an eye on Miss Lisa. If at any point Miss Lisa makes any sudden movement towards trophies and or vehicles, I'm going to need you to stop it. This is your mission should you choose to accept it.
Or this could be a way for me to keep Rob out of the bathroom. We know that's not an easy thing to do.
I have to think.
My wife has already responded. I don't get that. I think she's agreeing with me. I'm not quite sure, but I think she's right there. She's got it. That's kind of a wink. Like, yeah, I'll have the car. Going.
Nope. She said she won't take it. Yes. Miss Lisa's on Team Rob.
Yeah, but here's the thing. She wouldn't be going up and accepting the award. I would be. So.
Yeah, but you ain't leaving without her, Jack.
All right. So I wouldn't leave anyway because Station of the Year is the last thing announced, and I got to stick around for that because the other station I'm on is up for that. So I wouldn't be going anywhere. Nobody else can carry that trophy when we win it for the sister station. It's pretty heavy. All right. The first thing trending is Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas and the Saints. Hooray. That's all I needed to make my no good, very terrible, bad day worse. Michael Thomas put up a Instagram post, I think, earlier today that said they what was it? I don't know, I'm paraphrasing, but it was like they tried to save their side by knocking you and you.
Yeah, basically, I saved you by not telling
story.
everything.
Yeah, whatever. Dude, Mike, shut up, bro. I love you. I appreciate you, Slant Monster. Keep doing your thing for me, please, if you don't mind. But shut up, dude. Like, the Saints asked Mike Thomas during the regular season last year, get surgery. He's like, no. They're like, okay, do it your way. Then he went and got the surgery anyway, even though he said he wasn't going to. Then he got the surgery on a timeline that means he's going to miss the first 3 to 6 weeks of the regular season this year, which means that a brand new quarterback, Jameis or Taysom, is not going to have the most reliable weapon on the field to get their era started off. And on top of all that, for the last 3 months, Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis and all these other guys have been trying to call him and go, hey, Mike, what's up, fella? And he won't even answer the damn phone. Mike, this is on you, dude. I love you, but this is on you, big fella.
All right. If Drew was still there, would he have gotten the surgery?
So the reason he didn't get the surgery is because he wanted to be able to finish last year and try to get Drew Brees a Super Bowl. He didn't get the surgery so that he could play hampered, but play nonetheless. If Drew didn't play last year, he'd have got this surgery during the regular season last year and been 100% this year. But the point is, he could have gotten the surgery earlier and been ready for the start of the season, but he went against everything the Saints asked him to do. And then what? It's like, dude, it's like if your girlfriend says, I want you to go to a strip club, and you go to a strip club, and then she starts lighting up your phone the next few days. You got to answer the phone and own it, son. The show for men who drink seltzer is up next. Mark Ryan and Diesel got you up till 7. For Lonzo, I'm Rob on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. Later.
With
Sorry.
CNBC developing story, the latest in the plan for Dak
it's on me.
Prescott
I
this
keep my
week.
head-
is
No.
to develop his
I
leg
turned
drawing
it
a little
on and
bit.
thought I
Cowboys
turned it up, but I
quarterback
turned up
hits
the wrong
light
pot.
over the weekend. The team continues to be
Which
cautious
no one
with
would
their
have known.
$160 million